Can I beat Sekiro without being seen or spotted by enemies? That's what I wanted to find out, and required some tricks to sneak past certain enemies and even certain bosses. At the start we have a set hidden path to Kuro to grab our sword, but after that our challenge begins. Now we know when we've been spotted as a red arrow appears and dramatic music starts. When that happens, we start over. We headed out the same way we came in, following the path back around, up on top of the wall, and to see if we could get across to the other side. Yeah, overshot it a tad. There we go. Bosses we cleared as we went, although I had some interesting moments with some of them. That's for later though. In the present, I had to get my arm chopped off, get a new one, and head out. Now the normal process for areas was to stealthily move forward, scope out the enemies, and decide the path forward, trying to keep on top of buildings if I could. Collected some sugars, which will be useful soon, and managed to make it to Idol before Chained Ogre. Now for our first test. We have to get to the top of the stairs, fight and beat the Chained Ogre without these guys noticing. Keeping to the right was an unsurprising no-go. Next plan was catching one's attention and drawing him away. Now these yellow arrows mean they haven't spotted us, but they know something's up and will investigate. I used the chance to jump past whilst he was searching, but then there's a third enemy on the left. Wasn't too bad, as now we're past the stairs, all we had to do was lure Chained Ogre to the right corner and we could fight him in peace. Well, peace-ish. This could be handy. Had a not so friendly greeting with the World Serpent. Snuck past Gyobu's meant to face the man himself, which went alright. Didn't I see you in Demon Slayer? To avoid the next enemy on the stairs, we headed off to this island on the side. Back and climbed up to decide how to get to Blazing Bull. The ground approach didn't go well.
Damn, boy, he's thick!
The roofs went better, but still had two enemies waiting for us on the stairs. No worries though, as I had a cunning plan. I would use a ceramic plate, shattering it below, drawing their attention away, and we would jump past in the confusion. The less dramatic plan B was just jumping across, which they didn't notice. I think I may have overthought these guys too much. There were also 3 soldiers in the boss arena. An easy first with a swift backstab, and we were lucky enough for the Bull to take out the other 2 before they spotted us. After beating Bull, a couple of enemies open the door to Ashina Castle and will spot us, but a neat trick we have is using the Homeward Idol immediately. We teleport away and appear at the next idol. I decided to head to Senpo first, where I had to get past 2 mobs chilling on a bridge. Going underneath ended up not working out, as I couldn't get back up. Then whilst looking for another way, we started to get noticed. This could work. I got him curious, and once he went past, could get him from behind. Next was his chum, and there's no real excuse for this. A 0 in his peripheral vision stats. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, the next guy spots us way too easily. I had a small chance sneaking along the right side, and was going well until...
Hello there.
So we had to break out our first Gachine Sugar, which gives us a slight boost in stealth. Not invisible, but helped just enough to get past in time. Wasn't the end of issues though, as we entered the abandoned dungeon. And during this tiny swimming section, something always seemed to notice us. From the fish, to the gunman, fish, gunman, the next gunman, and back to fishes. I worked out how to deal with the first gunman by sticking to the left side and going below, but the fishes were just random. Left side, right side, didn't seem to matter. Eventually had this run, swimming slowly along the left wall and then back for the gunman, which managed to avoid them, but no idea if that's a reliable route or the fish was just feeling merciful. Now into Senpo. The start was fine, and even the most shinobi-esque movement we've done so far. Sneaking through the bushes, grappling through the trees, and a silent assassination to not disturb the group meeting. Spent some time mapping out the next area. We had Route 1, which ended up being blocked by 2 mobs, which could have been fine, but when grappling up, we immediately get caught by the enemy on the bridge. Need to deal with him first. So the second route we had was head along the right side, catch the enemy's attention, and once I was sure he was walking past, head forward. Fine, I was trying to spare you. Tried again, this time with a backstab before heading on. Cleanly took out each of the rats, then the armoured warrior, and ended up at our trickiest section yet. Now to reach the temple, we had to deal with monks, rats, and whatever these guys are. Again, no excuse to not be seeing that. So quite a mix to reach the temple, first keeping to the left side, then crouch walking past these rats lets us get to the next section, where we had to switch to grappling onto branches, and then finish off by hiding in the weeds. And that was the easy part. We come across these 2 stair enemies, and one who comes around the corner as well. First thing I tried was a death blow from above, whilst the second mob was going downstairs, and we get noticed. But after grabbing a new skill, tried again, and we were good. He does notice the body though. Oh, forgot about you. Whoops. Was going for the same in attempt 3, but noticed we could grab the top guy's attention. So we triggered him, which made him walk down, then got the second guy from above, and with those 2 solved, all we had to do was wait for the third at the corner. We're getting there. Now for the two in front of the door. Okay, we can get to the middle without them noticing, and to the next. Ah, a third guy. Even waiting in the corner, we get spotted by him, but on the next go we did a bit better, getting caught at just the end of the grapple. I think that's just enough for a Gachi and Sugar to put us over. Which was enough, managed to sneak past, idol grabbed, and Senpo conquered. With this confidence, headed back to Ashina Castle, and got spotted on our first grapple. Different path gets us up to the top, then with some yellow arrow and Gachi and shenanigans, we could get past the next mob. Wait, what's that sound? Annoyingly for him and his twin, they're triggered not by spotting us, but by proximity or how close we get, which is annoying. Handily, the rest of the castle can be skipped with this little door frame jump, as we can then climb our way straight to Geni. And after showing him who's boss, we get this, the Blood Smoke Ninjutsu, which will come in handy shortly. But before that, need to decide what path to take, Corrupted Monk or Guardian Ape. And for this challenge required mixing both, but I'll explain as we make our way. First we headed back to where we started in the well, taking out the lone shadow down there, and headed towards the swamp. Oh, lizards. This should be pretty simple. First try getting rid of the left one, but the right notices. Tried jumping straight over, but the left notices, and then tried for the right lizard, and they both notice. But then the idea, the gift from Geni. After backstabbing the left one and hiding in the smoke cloud, and almost poisoning himself in the meantime, avoided the right one and continued on. Quick cave dive. That grapple will definitely take a shoulder out of commission. Snuck around and got an enemy. Oh, shiny. Okay, that's not fair. Into Ashina Depths and the Snake Eyes boss. Had to stealth the gunman first so they wouldn't spot us, and then drew Snake Eyes away from the area so we didn't alert any others whilst finishing her. Whilst this was happening, I realised I had forgotten something, the Mortal Blade. So I needed a quick trip back to Senpo, taking out the monkey's boss, and grab the sword. Now to the land of ghosts and oversized turkeys. Managed to make it underneath the turkey in the way, snuck around to Miss Noble's hideout. Okay, that's a little bit of cheating there. Like Ashina Castle, we do have another skip here. Cleared Sekiro's most deadly boss and headed into Mibu Village. Okay, one on the left, one on the right. So if we go up here... Oh, come on. What sort of night has this guy had? The village was a mix. By water, we got spotted by the fish. By roofs, we ran out of roofs halfway. And started scoping out the path on the right, which seemed fine until we got grabbed by a hidden mob. Tried the left path, but again got surprised. After working out the petals or where the mobs appear, had a second go around, got past, and we were through. Well, after a bit more parkour over some roofs. Now here comes the mixing part of the route. We can now get to Corrupted Monk, but we don't want to kill it just yet, because once we do, ghost enemies spawn at certain locations, one of which will be directly in our path to Guardian Ape, and want to avoid that. So first we have to take a detour back to Ashina Castle, where Koro was complaining about the cleaning, and then we made our way towards the Sunken Valley, literally brushing shoulders with a monkey on the way. Well, you've been busy. This guy was turned out to be a bit of an issue, until found out there's a branch here. Played this game numerous times and just never knew about this branch. Handy as dropping down from here, let us get the slip on him. With the next guy just being a simple wait until he walks away, and then took out a lizard before he gets the drop on us. Okay, there is no excuses for not seeing me kill your mate. Yeah, I think this guy's either blind or just really not bothered about his job. I think they might have noticed me. Now this area, or specifically this night watch on their own wall, was an impassable problem. Using a Gachi, we were able to avoid detection at first, apart from this guy camping in the perfect spot to see us. But once we reached the bridge, right in the open, yeah, annoyingly, nowhere to hide or sneak, even though we seemed to get close. As a consolation prize though, this second Snake Eyes boss we come across can actually be snuck past. With a Gachi and then crouching and holding back immediately after the grapple, he doesn't spot us, and we have the time to sneak around whilst he gets up. After reaching the wall and clearing through Eamon, John and Ed, sped past the last guard, which was definitely more YOLO than actual strategy there, we arrived at the next idol. Dealt with claws and then the snake by landing on the lower platform and then to the water. I think we may have gotten away without being spotted. Jesus. How did you spot me all the way up here? And what are you meant to do from down there? Oh, okay, well played. After that, got revenge, even managed to get away with leaping over a couple of them, and then past the troop of monkeys, making it to Guardian Ape's arena. So to do battle? Well, not quite yet. Remember the ghost issue from earlier? The same thing happens before Corrupted Monk if we beat Guardian Ape now, so we need to head back to beat Monk first. And we can actually stealth Monk as well. By keeping to the left and using a combination of snap seeds and fistfuls of ash, we can back Monk up to the stairs and finish with a swift death blow before we're ever spotted. So that's pretty neat. With Guardian Ape also dispatched, we head to the final stretch. The wolves and the bell guy weren't interested in us this time, and so straight onto the bridge. Where at first I couldn't avoid getting noticed by this red swordsman. On the bridge, spotted. Hidden, spotted. Even using the blood smoke, spotted. So the solution, charge straight ahead before he gets a chance to come through the doorway. Not an elegant solution, but it works. Version 2 of this scope really needs to have some focus to it. Annoyingly, this next lone shadow is directly in our way. Tried from the side, but just leads to getting flattened. Even with the Gachin, he wasn't having any of it. But he was the last, with the final enemy encounter being up on the roof with one last trick. Grabbing his attention, sneaking down, then with the puppeteer ninjutsu, using him to attract attention as we head up, having one last scope out, and to the roof face Emma and Ishin. So, can you beat Sekiro without being spotted? Well, no, but a good portion you can. Hope you enjoyed the challenge, and we'll see you for the next one.